distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and I welcome you all with open hands to today's valedictory function, the two-day national seminar on science and technology for sustainable development. The national seminar has been a great success with the participation of many students, scholars, and eminent speakers. Most of them have put forth their valuable inputs and shared their immense knowledge that fully served the purpose of this seminar. And today is the culminating day. Yeah. First of all, on behalf of our Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, may I take the privilege of inviting Professor E. Sudharani Garu, Director, Dr. BRAOU, to come on to be there and preside over the valedictory. Thank you, madam. It is my honor, more than a pleasure, to welcome our today's chief guest, Professor B. Nehadari, Senior Research Professor, Indian Institute of Geomagnetism, Navi Mumbai, to come on to be there and offer the report. Pleasure having you, madam. I consider it a very great honor to welcome today's guest of honor, Professor P. Madhusudan Reddy, Director, Kitan Grade, to come on to the stage and take the stage. It is now the turn of our Dean, Science Faculty, Professor Pushpa Chakrapani, to come on to there and occupy the stage. It's my privilege to invite our madam, the taskbearer for the two-day seminar. I am pleased to once again invite all the committed participants, presenters, teaching and non-teaching staff of our university to this valedictory function. May I hand over the mic to the president of this session, Professor E. Sudharani Garu, for further proceedings. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Before handing over the mic to Sudharani Garu, which is our position invite the working on the chief guest. May I now invite Vijay to visit this character from E. Sudharani. Now, may I invite Usha to present the bouquet to our chief guest. May I now invite Sridevi. May I invite Sridevi to come on the dais and present the bouquet to all together. Now there is Sharanya to come on the dais and present the bouquet to your beloved Dean, madam. Thank you. Now I invite Thank you, Richard. Most welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this valedictory program. Respected Dr. Veena Dhani, guest of today's function, and Chief Minister Pushpa Chakrapani, the Dean Faculty of Sciences, and Professor Madhusudan, the Department of, and the Director of SIPA, and Department of Geology. My dear colleagues, friends, and the scholars who have come from all the places and come here for deliberating on today's event. event, the Sustainable Development, Science and Technology for Sustainable Development. At the outset, I congratulate the science faculty, especially the Diamond Dean and the colleagues for the successful completion of the two-day deliberations, inviting more than 50 papers, because I could see the panel sessions are also going on in this, and the plenaries, and inviting the luminaries from CCMB, IIC, and many other places. It's a very intellectual feast for 2 days because seminars of such kind always is a delight to the academics, because we have a chance to deliberate and discuss and also present our research outcomes, which we have been doing throughout our career. So this is a very important topic also, a highly contemporary relevance. And in the beginning, we have discussed how sustainable development is very important act for the future generations. Just, the development with the 5-year plan, we have discussed about the development concept. Earlier, it was used to be the welfare aspect of it. So how this development concept features into our policies and decisions and deliberations was something which we need to consider. Since then, Government of India, in tune with the international agencies or the UN United Nations, jointly venturing into the Millennium Development Goals, and sustainable development is one among the goals. So how to achieve this? Because we have been keeping the deadlines, Millennium Developments for the 2010, 2015, and now it is 2030. So these dates getting extended because of the challenges inherent in achieving this, the goals. Why these challenges are pertaining and persisting is a very important question to be addressed. And increasing pollution and over-dependence or over-exploitation of the natural resources for the human beings, increasing population. And earlier, in the olden days, we have not heard of any diseases with pandemics and all, but plague and all, they used to address for every century. But we never heard the lack of resistance or depletion of resistance or depletion of the water resources, because a perfect niche used to be maintained between the population and the natural resources. But however, these days, we are hearing more and more about these problems of the emission of the pollutions or gases, which is causing the havocs in the environment, and the sustainability becomes a question for future generations. So this pollution aspect, climatic changes in the pollution, and the lowering of the resistance of the human beings to encounter the different diseases, viral and all. I mean, these kind of problems and overcoming the challenges, and this has become, sustainability becomes a challenge amidst these problems. And these challenges have to be addressed, and India is in forefront addressing, and India is in front line in the world map in addressing finding a solution to the pandemic through vaccines and all. And yesterday also there was a discussion, and it was important in finding in space and advances in the space technology and IT sector. Hyderabad is a hub in the world, India's first and foremost center of the IT industry. And this kind of, even green carpet also, Telangana could overcome the pollution aspects with the increasing plantations. So all these things which put India's position in the world map at the forefront. So with this, and I'm sure with the organizers have chosen the topic in such a way that it incorporates all the subjects, the chemistry and the mathematics, and even society also, because earlier we talked about the society, economy,
and the science to put together the goals of the sustainable development. So, with the vast multidisciplinary approach the seminar organizers have done with the perfect plan and the blueprint for the seminar, I think they would have been there must have been succeed in finding out solutions and finding out some of the aspects, putting in forefront of the aspects with the research paper. So with this introductory presidential remarks, I may now request the seminar director, Professor Pushpa Chakrapani, to present the report.
Thank you, Madam Professor Sudharani. Very good afternoon to you all. Respected Director Academic, President of the Valuable Function of this national seminar, Professor E. Sudharani, Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Veeranthali, Senior Research Professor, Indian Institute of Geomagnetism, and guest of honor of today's inaugural function, Professor P. Madhusudhana Reddy, Director, Center for Internal Quality Assurance, Research and Development. We are you, invitees, delegates, participants, my colleagues, teaching and non-teaching fraternity of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, friends and media friends, and my dear friend Dr. Malati from Kerala University. Indeed, it gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all for this valedictory function of the National Seminar, Science and Technology for Sustainable Development. So on behalf of the university and on my own behalf, I extend once again a very warm welcome for this final program of this seminar. So we are really fortunate enough to have Dr. Veeranthali, who is a senior professor and a distinguished scientist. Thank you, madam, for accepting the invitation and being the chief guest of this valedictory function. Dr. Veena, let me tell you very briefly about our university. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University is the first women university in India established in 1982. And it is also the first university to introduce science programs to digital flexible mode in India. And we have all the courses from the undergraduate level to research programs leading to PhDs in the universities. So I want to delighted to inform you that the university has just now, as I told you in the morning, we have completed 40 years of existence as a nation in higher education. And we have recently and we all know that this 2-day national seminar, the theme of this seminar is Science and Technology for Sustainable Development. This is the 2-day national seminar, ma'am. And yesterday we had the inaugural session. Let me brief you about the inaugural session, what happened yesterday. So on the first day, Vice Chancellor Professor Ramarao, President of the inaugural session, said that the theme is very apt and very much necessary at present condition. To discuss and deliberate various issues related to the theme. Achieving sustainable development needs new innovations and a lot of research is required to enhance our abilities to deal with the challenges posed by the sustainable development. So we need to focus on advances in agricultural biotechnology to develop the food productivity, applications of new technologies to provide adequate and safe water supplies, clean and energy technologies, to ensure sufficient and sustainable energy supplies, and advances in biomedical sciences and technologies are very essential to overcome the daunting public health issues, challenges, and posed by the infectious diseases. So there are several areas where science and technology advances will have enormous benefits. So after the chief guest, Dr. C.H. Mohan Rao, who was the former director of Center for Cellular Molecular Biology, that is CCMB, expressed his concern that science and technological advances all over the world are responsible for the improvement in the quality of life of the global population. However, due to the over-exploitation of natural resources, sustainability has become a major concern. If we do not take care of the balance of consumption and replenishment, nature would perhaps by eliminating the consumers. Ecosystems inherently manage the ecological balance. Sustainable development is the key for the survival of humanity and all other living beings on our planet. So the Gibson monography expressed that the sustainable development criteria are three criteria, that is environmental protection, economic development, and social development. All these three activities are sustainable if they simultaneously fulfill these three criteria. The registrar, who is also present yesterday's inaugural session, said that the theme chosen for the seminar is very important and hoped that the deliberations and discussions that take place during the seminar will give the right direction towards the sustainability. So after the inaugural session, there was a plenary session where Dr. BRAOU-Live, former scientist from Indian Institute of Technology, spoke on sustainable development requires fundamental changes. Today, we are facing a global climate crisis, threatening the very survival of the life on the planet. We have no option but to firmly step ahead in the direction of sustainable development through discussions and participation in democratic process for change. Science is an important ally in this endeavor. Science and technology have to be reoriented from serving profit interest to people's interest. And wish that this seminar sets the direction for rethinking development for the people and function as a catalyst to promote debate and discussions on the path ahead. Planet when India became independent, the planet today are not the same, but completely different. Sustainability thinking only resolves a hospitable state. This is what he spoke about yesterday. In the afternoon session, the technical sessions were started, where the paper presentations took place, and these reports will be given by the rapporteurs in the particular session in time permits. Ma'am, I'm also happy to share with you that we received nearly 80 abstracts across the country for the presentations in the seminar, of which some of them are from the abroad like Korea, and since they are unable to attend physically, we made all the arrangements to present through Zoom link. Yesterday, we had that session also in the afternoon. So lastly, one thing I would like to tell you and share with you all that one must keep in mind that sustainable production and consumption involve not merely technical progress, but also cultural patterns of individual behavior and values. Science must play an important role in the pursuit of sustainable development. So once again, I thank our chief guest, Dr. Veena Kari, who came all the way from Mumbai to Hyderabad, though very short time of information. Thank you once again, ma'am. And I thank our Vice Chancellor who is always behind the faculty to do more such kind of activities. I thank our Direct Academy who supports and encourages in all our activities. I thank our registrar for his constant guidance and support. I thank you and I thank all the paper presenters who have come yesterday and today also who have presented your presentations. Very well presentations took place, and I'm happy that you will be going with rich experiences and you take this knowledge further to make our life more sustainable for future also to be have a sustainable future. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, Professor Pushpa, for presenting very briefly about the one-day deliberations, and then the mayor of Kalpan, Professor Madhusudan Reddy, Director Sita and Social Development, and also continuing faculty to give his message.
Respected Madam Professor E. Sudharani, President of today's valedictory function. Invited speaker, Dr. Veena Kari from Geomagnetism Department. We are also a geologist associated with the process of geomagnetism. I learned something in my PG level education. Later, as we are offering only undergraduate program in BSc, We are not dealing with really geomagnetism in undergraduate course. In PG level, we are offering MSc environmental. Yeah. And the organizing director of the organizing committee, my colleague, Professor Pushpa Chakrapani, science faculty colleagues, dear delegates, and all other friends. Good afternoon to you all. See, this is the first seminar from science faculty after the establishment of the university. The earlier several deans, nearly about 8 to 9 deans worked in this science faculty, and including myself, we never tried seminar. We always conducted symposia or workshop like events. We never conducted seminar. This is the first of its kind, and also the topic is also selected to accommodate all the departments. It is a multidisciplinary topic. Coming to the topic to science and technology for sustainable development. So during the early days of industrialization, every nation tried for development. So during, I think in 1952, first London smog, the first environmental effect was faced by the world. So they have experienced pollution and its adverse effects. Since then, they slowly started arguing about this clean and green environment. So many nations, including India, opposed earlier to implement green practices because we are the developing nation and we need development first. Later only we will think about environmental safety. Like that was the argument. But by 1990, all the nations felt that we need sustainable development. See, sustainable development is nothing but in the early days, we all learned about Bangaru Batu Guddu story. You know about that?
Yes.
So if you take 1 acre every day, we can sustain longer period. If you take total chicken, then we can't survive. Likewise, we have to protect the earth and its environment. Earth experienced several periods of global warming, and also the nature itself transformed and adjusted for the conditions. At that time, human race was not existing. See, we have experienced, Earth as not ourselves, Earth has experienced 5 great periods of glaciation. Latest is Pleistocene glaciation around 25 million years ago. So in each glaciation period, before glaciation period, the temperatures are very warm. Even in Carboniferous period, the Earth experienced abnormal carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. With that only, the greenery is very well developed. Later, due to changed atmosphere, all the greenery transformed in the form of coal because of the changed weather conditions. And also huge animals like dinosaurs are extinct because of these global changes. So if we won't take measures to control the pollution, man-made pollution, not natural pollution. Natural pollution is there since beginning of the Earth origin, from the volcanic eruptions and also the forest fires. All these caused pollution earlier also, but nature has the capacity to exterminate that pollution. Now we are creating pollution, such pollution the nature can't control that one and can't exterminate that amount. So we have to take proper measures. There are measures. I served 10 years in Pollution Control Board. We always advocate green technologies for the establishment of industries. But none of the industries established that technology. Technology is there, but negligence. And Some of the organizations established the green technology, but they are not operating the technologies. Government or regulatory bodies cannot go on daily basis. It is the responsibility of the industries and the people living in the surrounding areas to check or to comply to the authority. See, we are now under such a circumstance, under the circumstance of greediness of the industries and politicians. So if you change from this condition to application of greener technology, definitely sustainable development will persist. Otherwise, what will happen by 1950, we need another 1 or 2 planets for the surviving of human race at the present rate of development and utilization of resources. With mere 4% of population, America is consuming 25% of resources and causing a lot of damage to the environment. And they are suggesting control measures to the developing countries. Yes, we will follow that because it is everybody's Earth planet. So my suggestion to all the delegates, and you better wherever you go, you follow the measures of sustainable development. You advocate the measures of sustainable development. I congratulate the organizers and the delegates and also who presented papers in this 2-day seminar. And my sincere thanks to the organizers for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
So now we are usually waiting for the address by Veena, but before that, I request Pushpa Tekniwal to introduce the chief guest.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Veena. And you know, she's my friend, and we were the classmates in MSc. And one more friend is there, Dr. Malati also. So I'm very proud to say that one of my friends is in such a big position with working as scientist in the Institute of Geomagnetism. And yeah, she did her PhD research work carried at National Physical Laboratories, New Delhi. And she did her MPhil at the University Tirupati and MSc BSc also at the university. And she worked as a senior visiting scientist at Institute of Space, Earth and Environmental Institute, Nagano University, Japan, and also during January to September 2011 and February to April 2009. And she supervised PhDs, and she also executed research projects, CAW-SES project, that is solar and interplanetary sources during the ascending phase of solar cycle 24, effect on geomagnetic field. And she was the principal investigator for international collaborative projects. And her research area is Sun-Earth interactions, space weather phenomena, solar wind magnetospheric coupling studies, and ionosphere physics, magnetic storms, substorms and related electric fields, variations, inner magnetospheric dynamics, and ELF, VLF waves to study lower ionosphere and magnetosphere. And she received many scientific honors, such as she is selected for the prestigious Lever Home Trust, right, visiting fellowship, and research pursued at the Radio and Space Plasma Physics Group, Department of Physics at University of Leicester, United Kingdom. The research topic is on high altitude ionospheric response to the intervals of subatomic activity. And she is also selected for the URSI Young Scientist Award from International Union of Radio Science General Assembly in 1999 and attended the General Assembly at Toronto, Canada during between 1421. And her research topics include
This is too much.
yeah, and yeah, she has supervised 5 students completed PhD under her. Presently, 2 more research scholars associated with her, and 2 PhD students are working. And she has the postdoctoral experience as selected for the, I have studied all these things, I have read it. And she, one of the members of the scientific organizing committee, and attended the WDA's Asia Oceanic Symposium at Kyoto, Japan in 2017, which was planned to enforce and expand the collaborative network of data centers in Asia, Oceanic region to support the mission of ICSU World Data System. And one of the members, she is also one of the members of SOC for Kyoto University International Symposium, the International Conference on Traditional Sciences in Asia in 2017 at Kyoto University, Kyoto, Japan. And she is a convener for some important sessions at AOG's conferences during 2010, 12, and JPGU of 2011. There's so much to tell her because of lack of time, I could not read out all your credentials, Dr. Veena. I'm happy to be here. And thank you once again. And you can have a presentation now. Thank you.
Pushpa, for introducing her teachers, such a illustrious career she has. Now I request Dr. Veena to be the valedictorian.
So it's not student, it's a part of job, part of our work actually. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to everybody. And a set of dignitaries here, Professor Sudha Garu, Professor Reddy Garu, and Pushpa, of course, my good friend and classmate. I'm so happy to see her here. And it's such a nice to organize the mission seminar on science and technology into the sustainable development. That is actually the objective of any scientist. Whatever we do, it should be helpful to the society, it should help the technology, it should helpful to the thing. What we strive to do that actually. Okay, so this is more important to know about that part also. And thank you for inviting me and part of this also. And we work on geomagnetism, which is a space weather and everything. I think I know you're all hungry and waiting for the good lunch as well, but I don't take much time, but just for 10 minutes, because I have to introduce to you. We know indirectly so much dependent on the satellite communication, space and upper atmosphere, because so many things we are dependent on the communications and weather, climate, how the geomagnetism can be helpful in those aspects. I'll just brief you a few slides on that. And today's topic is like geomagnetism for space, climate, and environment. This is about our institute. The DST completed 50 years now, so we have that. And I don't go to the slides because we don't have much time. So what is the space weather? We know about the weather. Today is very rainy, very hot, summer season. This we talk about the regular climate changes in seasons and everything. When you talk about the space, and you know, what is the space? The Earth planet is surrounded by the geomagnetic field. But what extent is geomagnetic field? So I just want to all the students to just listen and understand what is we are working on that and how important these things to us also. Okay, so the space weather, which is always triggers the from the sun, solar phenomena, and geomagnetic disturbances. You must have seen the space, the things are coming up and it has spoiled the satellites, it has given the extra electric charges onto that. How important is that? And then the environment management approach to sustainable climate change also. How these are all of these things will be important. So the importance of the space, I don't know whether you can able to see the clear slide picture or not. So we are all important into the... Yeah, you can see here the atmospheric current. I talk about the thing is that when you have the 100 kilometers above that, we call it as atmosphere. So atmosphere has some layers. We call it as a D, E, and F regions into that. Those are the things where we got the chemical things and the sun ionization variations. It will have the ions and electrons as well. So there is a free electrons, free ions, so that the charge exchanges will be takes place. So because of these things, the communications propagation is possible. Mainly the high frequency communications. We call it as a communication unit. And then radio wave disturbances will happen. And you have a terrestrial installations and systems. So we have atmosphere and other things will also happen. So these are all the picture which gives the so much communication systems and plasma bubbles things, ionosphere, and there will be earth currents when you have the so much into that. And there will be GIC, that is geomagnetically induced currents in the within the earth. How the magnetic field is sustaining for so many years. It is coming from the earth and sustaining so many years also. It is one way protecting us and giving the opportunities to do so many things into that way. So why do we need to bother about that? So I already covered you the satellite communication that they destroyed the spacecraft and exposed the astronauts and occurrence of high flying aircraft. And these are all these things will radiation happen. And then storms, which is the power outage, pipeline, and the railroad disruptions will happen. So these are all we should know what the sun is doing and how the sun and the relationships are working into that. Why this changing of space weather is needed? So this is an active region. Sun has a cycle of 11-year solar cycle. Means it is very, very active, very, very harsh onto the earth, but sometimes this is a 11-year solar cycle. It is the ascending, peak, and descending cycles. So in the peak of the time and descending time, the sun emits so much of energy and into the call it as a coronal mass ejections. So which will propagate towards to the earth and earth directed towards that. So those things will affect our magnetic field kind of thing. And you have physics, you just know, we have the magnet and field lines also. So these field lines will also adjust for the earth, but one is forcing from the day side and one is from the elongated from the earth side. So these are all these things will changes when you have this kind of geomagnetic storms. So this is the space things which you can see to that. How this will affect it, there's the space segments and ground segments and also signals propagating to the earth lower and upper atmosphere also. So these are all these things will be covered into that. How is the sun? I already told you, wow, how much, so much energy is there into the sun. You can see the construction of the composition of the sun is with this kind of elements, and it is radius, mass, energy, and everything. So these are the small things which is very, very eruptive and come out of the sun, which will provide so much geomagnetic storm, which will destroy the satellites and everything. This will happen during the maximum phase of the solar cycle, 11-year solar cycle. So these solar cycles, now we are into 24 completed, we are in 25th cycle. So 24 by multiplied with 11, so much years the data we have available. How can earlier we used to have when we see the sun with the kind of some equipment, so the small dots will be there. Those are the sunspots. Those are the preliminary data which we know about the sun part also. Now there are so many satellite systems are there. The sun, the NASA has two satellites. This is the Solar Dynamic Observatory. The sun is there, two sites we can monitor. So we can know about what are the eruptions into them, which all will help us to have the predictions. When you have predicted that there is a solar cycle will be there, so we can take care of our instrument, take care of our satellites, and how it will be into that, so that we can very much uninterrupted communication, all these things will be happening, especially high latitude. Why high altitudes are important? You have field lines. The field lines will be joined into the high latitude areas. Where there is an open open field lines are there. So these particles and everything to travel towards the solar wind and enter into the high latitude zones and reaches the high altitudes, lower altitudes. Because of this especially Canada and all these places, these ground-induced disturbances will happen. We call it as a GIC currents into that. So these are all very important to know about that. I already covered that. This is how core and the radiation zone and convection zone will be there within the sun to provide so much energy into that. So these are all the black spots which I talked about the solar cycle, sunspots, which are the manifestation of differential rotation and differential sectors of the sun, and important to know about that. So this is the 11-year solar cycle. Knowing about all these things, predictions will be easy. So this is the GIC system, which is happening, the production of harmonics and things, and all transformers will go, increased radioactive and voltage fluctuation. So this is not very thing, sometime it will happen, no. 2003, when all our researchers, very fortunate to say that we published very good papers because the very extremely strong geomagnetic storm occurred and it has destroyed the communications, GICs affected all communication. Total electron content GPS signals have got disrupted. It is not good for the society, but good for the scientists because we could publish good number of papers on that. So this is how strong. So this is the magnetic field got disturbed during that period. So it lasts for some few days to some days as well. And as a result of the current induced in the magnetosphere, very large system originating from the sun and impinging on the earth. So there's a reason is like coronal mass ejections and interacting regions. These are very important. So these are the CMEs, how the structure you can see it in the eruption happens like that. It is a part of the magnetic field ejected from the sun and travel towards the earth with the solar wind velocity and everything. Earth has also have a rotation of 27 days. So once you see the active region, the same region can be seen after 27 days also. So the recurrence is also happened to the same effect on the earth. So I'm talking about these are the 2003 storms, which was happening very, very damage to the society and everything. So after that, in 2015, there was an intense storm again. So after that, the sun is very quiet. We are moving into the solar minimum period where we don't see much activity. But we work because what is the quiet time variations? When we know the quiet time variation, we will know how the distant time variations will be there in that. So this is important. This is the Earth magnetic field structure. So this is the daytime, and this is the sun here, coming the CMEs here, and it cannot take the field lines and move to the high latitudes, and this is the night time. Okay, just imagine the 3D picture of that. So here we have the parts of that, which is called as the magnetode tail region, magnetode pass, where the heat of solar wind pressure and magnetic pressure is balanced. So that will change with the active regions and everything also. And there's a plasma region, and you must be listened by seeing the Canadian movies and everything, very glow of lights will be there in the night time. When you see the sky in the night of the Canada or Russian and other high latitude station, you can see the multiple colors. How it will happen? Because of this geomagnetic storm, the particles will enter into the high latitude areas here and everything. This is the Earth actually, I can say that. So where you can see the low latitude, the chemical processes happen there, so it emits the light. You can see the beautiful auroras here. And though geomagnetic storm is not very good, but you can see the beautiful sky with multiple colors and enjoy the space weather things also. And this is much more closer picture, I can see it here. So I'm talking about the field lines here. You can see that this is the elongated field lines, magnetic field lines, and this is the closed field line. So solar wind will come here and move here and move that. Our all science, plasma, kind of all radiation is transmitted here. It is all the space I talked about now. So this is the index which we can be able to see that how the index of geomagnetic storm intensity can be verified using the ground magnetic magnetometers. Where we need the geomagnetic centers in the earth, we have, this is aurora setting. So I will show you, I want to see one picture of that. Yeah. You can see our magnetic observatories here. Because here we have equator and followed to till Jammu Kashmir, there is a Gulmarg station and the length and breadth of the India. Why we need? We need to know about all these geometrical variation. Then you can study here equatorial currents. Here is the mid-latitude currents and around latitudes also. So with that variation, we can provide a global model of Indian magnetic field variation, which is a part of supply to the global model also. Okay, so this is our institute kind of thing. I'll just come to, I'm talking about the ionization. How the magnetic field protecting us. When you see, these are the ionization that is enhanced X-rays and extreme ultraviolet, and all these things are not reaching the Earth. Because of this upper atmosphere and the charged particles, these ionizations are absorbed into 90, 120, and 200 kilometers in the upper atmosphere. Because of this, we are protecting and we are getting the kind of electron density variation clearly seen into that. It peaks around F region also. Okay, so because of this, we are protecting the kind of thing, and because of this charge regions, we are able to see all the GPS communication and surface communications, HF communication. Most of the mode of communications is possible here. Okay, so this correcting the GPS column and all the stratosphere, the kind of greenhouse and other all things which we talk about the lower stratosphere kind of. So this studying the medium is very, very, very important. Whether we talk about the inside geometry, how it is producing, and upper atmosphere, and also space. So the medium which we are living in this planet, it is must to know about that part also. Next time we have any science day, we will be open to that. You can send some students to know about that also. We will provide such kind of models, instrument, how we can look into that also. So suppose if you have the just general way I'm talking about here. So we have a TV interference is there, ionosphere is here. You can see the flight, HF absorption will be possible. So these are all the multiple things which will happen into that. So if you don't have geometry, what will happen? Earth doesn't have any magnetic field. So there is easy access of cosmic rays, especially the fine attitude, the atmosphere, and ozonosphere is also affected by that. And there will be no doom for the life into that. There are so many diseases will happen into that. In way God protected us, giving geometric field to us, and it's surviving actually and looking into that also. So I just talked about the space, sun, and other things, upper atmosphere. Now I come to the environmental magnetism, which will be interested to Masuda Reddy Garu. So I'm not very expert in that, though our group does into that. So they know by seeing the kind of a river, the kind of a samples from the river, sea, earth, and all those things, they will do in the lab test and be able to find out the deposits in that and trying to explain how the climate is changing with that and how the properties will be into that. So this helps them to see, go back to the past stage and able to predict properly into that. So the mineralogy, you can study about when you talk about the materials, I think the magnetic history, hysteresis and magnetic susceptibility, then magnetite, hematite, iron things. This is all very important to know about that part also. I mean, this is a kind of thing, intermagnetic and the paleomagnetic characteristic will be seen into the crust, atmosphere, and rivers also. So the typical kind of the sediment columns, they look into that and able to find out the materials gathered sitting on that and then able to find the climate changes possible also. So you're all listening now with the glaciers. The glaciers melting, global warming will happen. You know, we don't get water and everything will be rising sea level. This will also happen, but it is not exactly the environmental magnetic approach is suitable for climate research. But no, because it's only giving the information about the past 20 years only. But when you take about the because of the climate data, which is almost like a past 200 years. So need to provide this long period climate data accurately so that we can predict the climate changes also. And which is helped us to find out the wind strength, droughts, salinity variations, and heterogeneous input also. So I'll just give you one example. It is a cycle using the magnetic minerals in the climate research. This is the source. The source is coming to the river, source is coming to the sea and lakes and all these topsoil and peat windows also. So it's a cycle, it is distributing here and then sitting here. So it's everything from the rock, sediments, soils, and meteoroids, polar ice. So all these things can be, take the sample from them, data. It is a continuous process, not only 1 day, 1 year data on that. Past so much data, we can able to get into that lab proceedings. We can measure these magnetic materials in the laboratory and study the monsoon rainfall over the last 20,000 years also. So it's such a long data which can provide you that way. And this figure is very important. You can see clearly here, this is the magnetite. Wherever we find the magnetite, this gives a good rainfall kind of information. Where you have the hematite, it is like a drought conditions, low rainfall also. When you see these figures, you can see depth of almost 180 kind of thing. And years also you can see it is a drought area which he mentioned about, and come to the drought to the completely rainfall season, greenery and all the things are improved into that. So this is the how this geomagnetism and all these magnetic materials can help into the climate changes and everything also. So this is about our institute. We have a long history of 150 years. Because in the British time, this is a Colaba kind of thing. They just dumped some magnetic materials into that. It's a story, beautiful actually. So it's this found that there was something changes happened into that. So they found out why this magnetic observatory is important there, which is the oldest one. All global people, whoever with the space sciences and everything, they visit and they see that the kind of records is still available with us, and we publish some papers compared to those events with the present events also. This is part of our institute. And this is the thank you one and all for giving the opportunity. I think there's 1 or 2 questions because you must have a lot of questions, but I can take 1 or 2 questions if you have any particular.
Have more, you can have interaction during the lunch also.
Lunchtime. When we talk, people ask us what was the societal impact. So hard to tell everything to know how indirectly we are helping to the society. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to the organization, particularly Pushpa. So I love to come here and enjoy this seminar. Thank you.
Thank you for a very wonderful deliberation on the climatic change and the communication system and geomagnetism, and several new things have been discussed. Yeah, this was again my inaugural session. I was talking about science is considered as a diagnostic, like whatever incidents happen, we try to take out, figure out what happened and the diagnostic part. But science can be preventive too of this because the environmental magnetism and the glacial melting, all these things, the researchers are working 24/7. So continuously finding out the solutions for the sustainable development of the future generations. So her lecture required, I think, not more than, I think, more than 2 hours because to make us understand, and especially non-science people, it is much required, but very simple and lucid manner she has explained everything. So we'll move on to the next agenda of the item, that is a certificate distribution. Yeah, distribution of the certificates.
Come. Quickly read out changing certificates. We read out changes to
Sakshi Anand.
Quick.
Sakshi Anand, please come.
Next, Premalata, Mallaredi University. Tejavati.
Please, please.
Come this side. Come this side. Come this side.
Can they able to walk?
Yeah.
Can you get a better moment?
No, 1 second.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Congratulations.
Remalanda?
Anshu.
Tejavati?
Jyotirmay.
T. Jyotirmay.
G. Jansi.
G. Anshu. Anshu, who is Anshu? Acha, Anshu. Come. Jyotirmayi, yeah. Shanti?
Sandhya. J. Sandhya. M. Chiranjeevi.
Sankhya.
Sheikh Razia. Is she there? Chiranjeevi. D. Madhuri.
D. Madhuri.
D. Madhuri.
Razia unnara?
D. Madhuri. She left. Shanmukhi Jyoti. Is she there?
Fast.
Come on. M. V. Ramana.
Jyoti Nama?
Want to take?
Glory Manjula. Probably your first certificate.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Congratulations.
Yadagiri Rao.
Nasimachari.
Yadagiri Rao. Oh, undi, sir. Yadagiri Rao.
Ramana garu.
Kumera Chabnam.
Ramana garu.
My scholar.
Ramana garu.
Ramana garu. Photo, sir.
Kumera Chabnam. Yan Chandana. V. Krishnaveni.
Congrats, madam.
Chandana.
Chandana, she's also my age.
M. Ravi. M. Ravi. Irshad Amar. Irshad Amar. Bhavanjali. Juveria.
Bhavanjali.
Kapurunita. Maleha.
Name, congrats.
These are all from Maulana, madam. All are from Maulana.
Yes. Award.
Kapurunita. Please come.
Malik. Please, Malik.
Srividya.
Maleha.
Divya Sai. Atika.
Congrats, Maleha. Good.
Priya.
Vidya?
Anta Malare.
This side.
Local.
Mansuri Reddy. Madhu side.
Nagaraju.
Nagaraj.
Sneha. Anta Malare. That మొత్తం. K. Venu Prasad. Usmania. A. Srinivas. Ajan. A. Srinivas.
It is better, no? Come. G.